Are you a family caregiver? Are you caregiving for someone who can no longer take care of themselves? Are you overwhelmed? This is Caregiver Solutions Info with Marcia Teele. Marcia will be hosting an hour of true stories and information, tips and updates of the latest research and necessary information in the caregiving field, focusing on you, the family caregiver. An Alzheimer's disease and dementia care expert, Marcia has 15 years of hands-on experience at Arden Courts, a leader in assisted living dementia communities here in the U.S. Marcia covers everything you need to know as a family caregiver, especially if you care for a loved one with Alzheimer's disease or other related dementia or chronic illness. If you have a friend or relative that is also a family caregiver, call them now. They won't want to miss a minute. And let them know they can watch on caregiversolutions.info. And they can listen on WNN 1470 AM in South Florida or nationally on the iHeartRadio app. Now, sit back, relax, and learn from our host, Marcia Teele, as she brings information to you that may just be the caregiving solution you need.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Caregiver Solutions Info and caregiversolutions.info if you're watching us on your computer or smartphone. We thank you so much for joining in with us today. We always have a great show for you every week at this time. Today is Tuesday, September 15th, 2015, and Caregiver Solutions is the show for caregivers. If you're a caregiver, an unpaid family caregiver, and you're going through the trials and tribulations of taking care of someone that has dementia, Alzheimer's, memory loss, then this show is for you, created just for you, so you have another avenue to learn about what you need to know to make caregiving just a little bit better for you. It's not easy. No one ever said it was. And we learn by sharing information. And we learn by getting that information that might just be just the thing that's going to be a tip that's going to help you make a better day for you and make a better day for your loved one. So I'm glad that you found Caregiver Solutions Info. And today we're going to be having a wonderful program based upon the idea of music and how music can help someone with memory loss to bring them back to life and give them better quality of life. And so you're not going to want to miss that. It's going to be very exciting. But first, we're going to talk about our brain boosters. Our brain boosters is a tip or some information that is going to help you to either maintain your memory or it's going to help you improve your memory. We all want to do that. And so this week's Brain Boosters is about watching the screen. Now, whether you notice it or not, a lot of people are always looking at their iPhones, their Blackberries, they're looking at their tablets, they're looking down a lot, they're watching television, they're on the computer, they're doing video games, and the average American spends about 5 to 8.5 hours a day in front of the screen. And I guess it's no surprise that about 70% of those people are overweight. They're not moving. There was a study done recently with 3,200 people, and this study tracked for 25 years people and their habits of watching TV, of being on the screen, whether it's a personal device or the computer, and they tracked them over 25 years. And what they found was that people that were on the screen for a very long time, for these number of hours that we're talking about or longer, that the TV viewing and such actually damages the brain, and it helps to increase cognitive decline in someone's middle age. And it also increased the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease. So what is that telling us? We're just letting our brains go to mush because we're getting this input, and it's really not working our brain, although we think that it is. So what can we do about that? There are some suggestions. The study came out with some suggestions. And so what we want to do is try to limit the time that we spend watching television. If you have a lot of shows that you like to watch, you can record them and then watch them in smaller segments and smaller doses as you would. You don't want to just spend all your time in front of the TV. You want to get out there and do other things. One of the things that they're encouraging you to do is to get up every 30 to 60 minutes. So if you're someone who works in front of a computer, set your timer, set your watch, set your iPhone, and every 30 to 60 minutes, get up and move around a little bit. Just being in one spot all the time is not good for your brain. So your behind actually affects your brain. So, there's a correlation there. We want to do that. We want to walk. We want to have time to get out. We want to exercise. You want to get moving. You want to do your 10,000 steps a day. You can track that. They have a lot of iFit bracelets, and your iPhone and your different devices can track that. You want to get up and do that. Some companies now are actually providing stand-up desks, so employees can actually stand while they're working on the computer, and just that is going to help instead of sitting all the time. So you can stand up. There's a lot of things that we can do standing up that we normally do sitting down. So try that. Try standing up sometime and do what you normally do. You can stand up and you can make out your grocery list. You can stand up and you can clip coupons. Stand up more. Stand up and move around a little bit. Another thing is getting that 30 minutes of exercise 5 days a week. Get some cardio in. And most importantly, put down your phone. Put down your devices. Get off the computer and spend a little bit more time face-to-face. And I know that, we all have some FaceTime when we do iPhone, but if you can engage socially, one-on-one with somebody in person, that's going to increase your social opportunities, which has proven to also help with the staving off of memory problems. And so those are things that we can do. And so one of the things I want you to do now, if you're not driving and listening to this show, is I want you to get up from your seating position, and I want you to take a little jog around your kitchen, do a little two-step where you are, do a couple jumping jacks, get moving, because we're going to take a short break. So you've got a minute or two to move around and then settle back in. And when we come back, you'll be meeting our music therapist. So stay tuned, and we will be right back.
Arden Courts is not just a place to live, it's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Courts. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars, resource library, or support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Courts, we know, we understand, and we can help because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides. Make First Choice your first choice for home health care. First Choice is state certified for Medicare covered services such as medical treatment and rehabilitation. Qualified healthcare professionals come to your home and work closely with your doctor to build a care plan designed to get you back on your feet as soon as possible. Founded and operated by registered nurses, First Choice Home Health is dedicated to providing exceptional home health care. Their highly skilled medical professionals have the knowledge and ability to provide patients quality care. Call First Choice Home Health at 561-296-2770. That's 561-296-2770. And tell them you want them as your first choice.
Hi, this is Marcia Teele of CareGiver Solutions Info. I'd like to tell you about Senior Home Companions. They provide care in the home for seniors by active seniors. The caregivers are mature men and women who understand the needs of seniors. Caregivers are individually matched to each client, creating a bond and a high level of comfort. A nurse registry, Senior Home Companions have been assisting seniors in Palm Beach County for 17 years. For a complimentary assessment, call Gloria at 561-347-6676 to see how a Senior Home Companion can help you.
You are listening to your host, Marcia Teele, an Alzheimer's disease and dementia care expert on CareGiverSolutions.info. If you have a question or wish to share a story, call into the show at 888-565-1470 and talk with Marcia. Now, back to Caregiver Solutions.
Hi, and we're back. I hope you got those cobwebs out and at the end of the day here and shake out all of that stress. And now you can sit down and relax because we're going to be meeting a music therapist and find out what is a music therapist. So hello.
Hello.
I'd like to welcome you to the show today.
Thank you.
We have Bree Beyon. She is a managing partner with the Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute here in South Florida. Thank you so much for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
You're so welcome. I'm very excited. I know that I've seen you before in some different venues. I was very impressed with what you had to say and what you do, and I really wanted you to come and share with everybody. So everybody knows what a musician is, all right? Everybody has a favorite band. Everybody has a favorite singer. Everybody knows what a musician, but tell me what a music therapist is.
Absolutely. Great question. And I think just like everyone understands what their favorite musician might be, they can understand the idea of how music can be therapeutic to them, and they use it therapeutically, and whether it's just getting through rush hour in your car with your favorite music. But the idea of what a music therapist is actually a very specialized position. So the idea of music therapy is a credentialed professional that uses music intervention to reach non-musical goals. So what I mean by that is someone who's gone through the education training to become a music therapist, then does their internship to be able to get experience working in different settings, will then employ all the things they have learned, which could include counseling techniques, anatomy, physiology, music techniques, in addition to being able to work with children, with adults, all different settings, but working on their different domains. So not just a musical domain, social, cognitive, spiritual, emotional, physical. So where I work at the Palm Beach Music Therapy Institute, we are working in all different settings. We don't have a clinic space specifically, but we go to wherever our clients or our patients are in their natural settings. So we're working in schools, community programs, hospitals, memory care centers, using the music as the vehicle to unlock some of these doors for these individuals.
So a music therapist is not the same thing as a music teacher.
Correct, right. Two separate ideas. So while, again, a music teacher is going to be using their skills, their unique set of skills that they've been trained to do, to help their students reach a musical outcome. So they're going to be specifically teaching them, whether it's theory or repertoire or different techniques, to be able to help them reach their musical goals.
Like children in school. You
Absolutely.
have music teachers, or if you're taking violin lessons at home, that's a music teacher.
Yes.
And a music therapist would be also a musician, or not necessarily?
Yes, for sure. So just to rewind a little bit, the beginning steps, if you're listening to this program, maybe you're listening because you're interested in the field of music therapy or how to get involved personally, which is wonderful. You do have to be a musician first. So to apply and to audition into the college program, you have to go on one primary instrument. So mine was voice. I auditioned a voice audition, just like a music performance major would do, or music educator major would do. And the first 2 years of our schooling was very music-based. So we learned theory, we learned all these instruments that I may never play again in my life, but good to know them. And then the second 2 years, we were more with psychology majors, PT majors, speech majors to really start working in all those different domains outside of our musical realm. Our internship was really that time to put all of that together.
Wow. So your instrument was actually your voice.
Yes.
I love that.
Yep.
You know why I love that? Because a lot of people say, oh, I don't know how to play an instrument. I don't have rhythm. I don't know how to play anything. But their voice is an instrument.
Oh, absolutely. A very important instrument. In fact, especially in a lot of the settings that we work in, a lot of our therapist backgrounds are in hospice care. The voice is very important.
That's why you have chords, right? Your vocal cords. So if you're strumming chords on a guitar, you're actually kind of strumming chords in your vocal.
For sure.
In your voice box.
Yeah.
So I like that. I like that analogy a lot. And I will have to tell you right up front that I can't sing. So I don't have that musical instrument to my...
we hear that a lot. And you know what? It's unfortunate because a lot of our patient clients we work with, we say, you're always welcome. That's a big part of it. We'll talk about later too. You're always welcome to join in. Please sing with us. People say, I was told at a very young age that I am a listener, not a singer. I mean, we hear that so often. It's so sad. And I say, well, does singing make you happy? I love singing. I sing in the shower, I sing in the car. Then please sing with us now. I mean, there's no better sound than someone who is singing through a smile.
And I love to sing, and I do in the car, like you said, with the radio, but no one hears me but me. But I do play an instrument. I will have to tell you that because I want to share that I play a percussion instrument.
And what is that?
I play the spoons.
Love the spoons.
All right, a lot of people think the spoons, but I love
Like
bluegrass.
bluegrass? Yeah,
I love
that's great.
I love bluegrass music, and I play the spoons. And if I'm near a bluegrass band, I'm at a restaurant, I'll ask the waitress, bring me a couple tablespoons, and I'll just sit there and right at my table and join along because it makes you happy. And that's what I love about the music and the music program, because we're going to be talking about specifically how music can help someone that has dementia.
Yes.
Or Alzheimer's, other form of dementia, memory loss, and how a caregiver can use this music to make their day better and make the patient's day better.
Absolutely.
And so that's really what we want to focus on, because everybody, who doesn't love music, right? I mean, everybody loves music. And there are lots of different types of music. There's all kinds, jazz and country, my favorite, and classical, and all kinds of music. But does it matter what kind of music that you're into, or is it just because it's music, it's helpful?
No, it absolutely matters. It absolutely matters, and I'll tell you why.
Yes.
One of the big things that we share as music therapists when you're trying to identify if, you walk into a facility or you walk into a school and you think, okay, I see someone playing guitar. What are a couple things you can look for to identify if that person is an entertainer? A wonderful thing. A wonderful music by nature is so entertaining and so fun. Or a music therapist. And one of the big things we tell people is look at the music they're doing. It should be very individualized, because our clients, our patients, our families, caregivers that we're working with are going to have the biggest response to music that's meaningful specifically to them.
Things that they remember or they grew up with?
Absolutely. Our strongest musical memories are in our 20s, late 20s, early 30s. So if you think about what that music is connected to, is some pretty incredible memories. Wedding songs.
Right.
Songs that they shared with their young children.
Graduating from high school. I still remember the song that it was our theme song,
school,
right?
For sure. And another big one is, speaking to this generation that we work a lot with, is when my husband first came back from the war. Think about how big music and dance was a much bigger part of, or a much different, I should say, part of the culture then than it is now. They remember those songs that they danced to. Not only with their romantic significant others, but friends, family members. It's a huge bonding thing. It's connected to so many feelings and emotions. So bringing back music from that specific time is just going to connect the whole brain. It's going to start rewiring all those neurons. It's going to start bringing back those memories, those special feelings, and making those connections again with the spouse that's also sitting there enjoying the music, or the daughter who sometimes we hear, I've never heard those memories before. And music starts to open those doors.
Well, you know what's interesting, and it never ceases to amaze me, and I know it never ceases to amaze caregivers, but when we have music at Arden Courts, which we have a lot of because we love having music therapy and sing-alongs and the entertainment and all of that goes with it, you'll have a resident or maybe a visitor is joining us, and the husband or wife will say, well, she can sit in, but she's not going to partake. And we say, why is that? Well, because she hasn't talked in a long, long time. And I can't get her to say anything. She's very quiet. She's just kind of shut down. And I say, well, let her come anyway, because she can hear it, and she'll enjoy listening. She'll enjoy being with other people. She'll enjoy the socialization part. So I encourage them to allow her to come, because I kind of know what's going to happen, even though he doesn't. So he says, okay, that'll be fine. And so I let them kind of watch from afar, and when the music starts and the special songs come on that are appealing to that generation, all of a sudden the lady who never spoke, who was quiet, who you never heard a peep from, all of a sudden she's singing along. And she's singing along to all the words.
And they're the correct words.
And they're the correct words. And with the right rhythm, the right everything. And the first time I witnessed this, the gentleman was watching his wife who hadn't spoken, and tears were running down his face. And he was so happy, but he was also so amazed that music was able to bring out in his wife something that he thought she had lost. And it was such a beautiful thing. And he learned that there is a way to reach her, even though he thought there wasn't. And so from that point on, he was able to use music to engage her. And I think that is so awesome to actually not only know about, but to watch it happen. And I love that.
And that's definitely an example we hear a lot, and we feel so excited that every time we hear it that someone has seen, because that response is so amazing to music. So in addition to being a board-certified music therapist, I'm also a certified neurologic music therapist. Just means that I've gone to a special training in how music and rhythm specifically affect the brain when it comes to retraining cognition, speech centers, physical things that have been changed either through an accident or a disability, things like that. And so what we want to take advantage of is that moment. Exactly. That moment when we find what music is starting to, so not only are we lighting up the entire brain with music, but really starting to activate some of those centers that have been affected by neurodegenerative disorders or whatever the case may be, and stay in that moment, hold that moment, and work from week to week to start using that not only to facilitate that amazing relationship that can come out of not only therapist and client, but client and family member and friends in that social environment, but also, okay, now what are her goals beyond this moment?
So you want to build on that?
Absolutely. So we love that she can sing, but really I'd like her to be able to let me know when she needs to use the restroom or would like a drink of water. So we can start setting phrases that would actually be real life applicable to the music that is familiar. Start making it a melody. Start using rhythm to tap it and help them feel it physically. Actually, it's been proven in research that when you are physically engaged in a rhythm, it helps your speech production. So we use a lot of different techniques to help facilitate that and be able to look at 6 months later, where was our baseline? Well, she was happy, she was smiling, she was singing, and now she's able to communicate and make her needs known.
So if she wanted a drink of water and she really couldn't say it, but if what I hear you saying is you're initiating a rhythm and you're initiating some rhythm with some musical, and you put that into her brain enough that you can actually pull out other words.
Exactly. Make it physical themselves, hand over hand, tapping it. I need a drink of water. I need a drink of water. And kind of make it a sing-song that's familiar. Take that away. What do you need?
I need a drink of water.
Yeah.
And they will say that. That is pretty amazing.
Yeah, it is.
The brain is amazing,
Yep.
right? And
Yep.
we don't understand everything about the brain, but I think it's amazing what music can do to help people. And that's why
Absolutely.
I'm so excited that you're here to share all of this with
Yes.
us. How long does it take for the brain to actually adapt those type of rhythms and get into more of the verbalization through the rhythm and the music? Does it take a long time, or have you seen where it's pretty rapid?
It's absolutely a case-by-case basis, like most things. While I always try to make it clear that this isn't magic, although it looks like magic sometimes, but there's, 50 plus, well, in our field, 50 plus years of research supporting these things. But if we want to go back to Plato and Aristotle, I mean, this is from the beginning of time. People recognized the power of music as a healing agent, and it's just it's incredible to go back and look at through readings and things that people have done through music. So everybody's different, but while I try not to encourage people to think of it as magic, we're still surprised all the time by things, even though I'm very educated in it. I'm out there in the community doing it, and I'll see someone who really is not responding. Eyes are closed. I'll use an example if
Sure.
that's all right, from a adult daycare center that we were doing weekly programs at, and this one woman was either staring straight ahead, not responding, or getting up and going to the door. I want to go home. 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 That
Which
was
is
the
common with people with dementia. They want to go
So
home.
that was the two levels that she was at.
She didn't have any focus.
Right.
Okay.
Even with me down on my knees in front of her, trying to engage, tapping on her with an instrument at first, looking straight through. So I thought, okay, I really want her in this group. I really want to see how music can help, not only help her engage, but also help her enjoy the space she's in right now, so she's not constantly going from this to I want to leave. And boy, after week, and paying attention to a large group, but kind of giving a little special attention to her, I was just kind of taking note to her responses. And the first thing I would notice was she would lift her head up and make eye contact every once in a while. That was a couple weeks in. A few more weeks in, I noticed the toes tapping.
Yep, I was just going to say,
the toe tap. Yep.
sometimes that's the first sign that you see when music starts. If they're not engaged and they're not moving, but you look at their feet and you start to see that little toe tap.
Yep. So we have eye contact, we have toes tapping. Okay. A couple weeks later, she accepted the instrument that I gave her, reached out, grabbed it, held it for the duration of an hour.
You're making progress.
Yes. Oh, and I'm not including all this that I'm able to observe is because she's staying in the group, because she's not getting up to walk around. And by a couple months in, she's singing.
Wonderful.
Sitting for the entire hour. I mean, just sitting for an hour anyways. If that was just that, I would say amazing. But all those different levels along the way, by the end of the program, I will carry that with me as long as I live, because it's such a perfect example. There's other times when we go in to work with someone and the response is immediate.
Yes.
And I'm able to say to the family, look, see, like you probably had that moment with the husband. I told you she'd love it, right?
Yeah.
We get that a lot, but sometimes it's not. And the fact that, we were partnered with individuals who were, professional caregivers, also staff, that would look week to week for those things. And that's why it's so important that we say, for music therapy to be effective, it really needs to be treated as therapy. It needs to be built on. It needs to be a weekly, consistent program on a schedule that people can look forward to, rely on, and that feels comfortable for them. Because really what we're doing with the music therapy is we're normalizing a situation. We're taking maybe an uncomfortable, unthreatening situation like this woman I shared the story about, and making it familiar, making it comfortable. So when they know to expect that, and that might sound odd for someone I'm dealing with a memory daycare center, you'd be amazed.
Yeah.
We'll walk in the door and, oh, it's so good to see you. Oh, it was, and they maybe don't remember the exact space of time since it's been there, but they know when they see my face, they see the guitar, they see the
They
instruments,
know they're going to have a
exactly
good
what to
time.
expect.
Yep.
Exactly.
They're going to have a great time. Well, I'm so excited about this because I see personally, every day where I work at Arden Courts, that music plays such an important part. We had a resident that moved in, and she was younger. She had early onset Alzheimer's, and she loved to dance. And she always wanted to go dance. And so we actually integrated her into our musical program, and we let her be the dance teacher.
Love it.
And so she had a purpose.
Yep.
And she was going to teach everybody how to do the dancing. So now we have her moving, and she's getting the others moving, and the music is going, and she's dancing. And that not only made her so happy, but it gave her a purpose. It gave her a reason, for being. And like you said, then she forgot about everything else that, they live in the moment, and she was so thrilled. And music did that for her.
Yeah. And you bring up another good point. Another thing, kind of a bullet point that we try to emphasize about our program, our services, is the emphasis on creating successful interactions for these individuals. So we talked about maybe speaking is not so successful at this point, and it's uncomfortable, it's embarrassing to whether speech is aphasic or voice isn't as strong as it used to be. And just taking the pressure off that and making the communication musical, it's amazing how that can build rapport, how that can bring smiles, because now they're able to be successful at that and have that successful interaction. And that's another reason why we really put an emphasis on live music.
Yes.
Because if someone is able to be successful by singing, but their speed is much slower, we want to be able to adapt that in real time, whether it's guitar or on piano or just doing a cappella together, or also, getting them moving to the music. So you mentioned the woman who loves to dance. Speeding up that rhythm to be whatever she's doing. We say, you're conducting us with your feet. We're going to follow what you're doing.
Right.
Yep, and giving them that control in a time when so much control is not available.
That's right.
How powerful that can be.
That gives them that control. It elevates their self-esteem,
For
and
sure.
it just totally improves their quality of life. So we're going to take a little commercial break, and when we come back, will you play some instruments?
I would love to.
Okay, so stay tuned. We're going to have some instruments and some music, and stay tuned and get up and jog around again for a minute. We'll be right back.
Take a pen and jot down this information. Right from the Heart assists families in finding the right living arrangements for their aging parents. Founded in 2012 by Sharon Agate, Senior Lifestyle Consultant, Sharon has counseled seniors and their families for over 20 years in clinical settings and in independent assisted living and memory care communities. Finding the right community can be overwhelming and time-consuming. Right from the Heart takes the stress and worry from you. Sharon will meet with mom or dad and evaluate their needs and lifestyle preferences and create a personalized plan at no cost to you. She will accompany you to visit selected communities and guide you every step of the way so you can be assured you're making a well-informed decision. Call Sharon at 561-374-4696. Sharon's promise to you is in your knowing that her advice will always come right from the heart.
Hi, this is Marcia Teele of CareGiver Solutions Info. I'd like to tell you about Senior Home Companions. They provide care in the home for seniors by active seniors. The caregivers are mature men and women who understand the needs of seniors. Caregivers are individually matched to each client, creating a bond and a high level of comfort. A nurse registry, Senior Home Companions have been assisting seniors in Palm Beach County for 17 years. For a complimentary assessment, call Gloria at 561-347-6676 to see how a Senior Home Companion can help you.
Do you need the advice of an elder law attorney but perhaps find it difficult or overwhelming getting to appointments? The solution is the Elder Law Department. They bring elder law to you by meeting with you in the comfort of your own surroundings to discuss your personal situation and family needs. In practice since 1994, Heidi Friedman is a member of the Elder Law section of the Florida Bar. She and her team help families with issues that include incapacity and estate planning, asset preservation, veterans benefits, and other legal issues that seniors may face. Call the Elder Law Department at 954-383-1143. 954-383-1143. They bring elder law to you. You are listening to your host, Marcia Teele, an Alzheimer's disease and dementia care expert on CareGiverSolutions.info. If you have a question or wish to share a story, call into the show at 888-565-1470 and talk with Marcia. Now, back to Caregiver Solutions.
Hi, and welcome back. We are here in the studio, and we're talking about music, how music can help the brain, how music can help people that have dementia to get re-engaged, to bring them back to life in many instances when nothing else seems to work. So thank you again, Bree, for being here. This is Bree Beyon. She's a musical therapist, and she's with the Palm Beach Music Institute, Therapy Institute, and she's been talking about how we need to engage people so that they can feel part of a group when maybe they're not able to speak, maybe they're lost a lot of their abilities, but music can help bring that out in them. So now you have a whole plethora of instruments out here on the table.
Yes.
They look like fun. They're very colorful.
Yes.
And I was asking you during the break, what about caregivers that are listening, watching today's show, and maybe, they don't have the ability to play an instrument like a guitar, piano, and maybe they want to start small and engage their loved ones in some musical abilities that would be something that they could feel confident and successful at. And you mentioned that rhythm is the way to go.
Yes.
So tell us about that, and tell us about the rhythm and how a caregiver could actually initiate rhythm with a loved one.
Absolutely. So like we were saying before the break, talking about things wanting to be success-oriented so they're not either over or under stimulating, that goes for the caregivers as well. So I'm going to give you a couple tips that we use in sessions. We try to keep things to be multisensory, so you're engaging not only obviously orally, but by doing the music, but also visually stimulating, bring in scent a lot of times, things like that. So we're going to talk about physically engaging through rhythm, and also using bright colors or whatever is pleasing to your loved one. The reason that rhythm is such a good connector is going to make a lot of sense to you. Rhythm is something that we all possess just by being human, just by being born. Even before we are born, we are exposed to rhythm.
Right? Mom's heartbeat.
Absolutely.
Right?
We're exposed to the heartbeat. When we're born, we have that heartbeat. No one teaches our heart to beat that way. It's just how it is. When we learn to walk, we walk in a rhythm. We aren't taught to walk specifically that way. We just walk in a rhythm. Rhythm is so connected in our lives without being taught it. So when I introduce the idea of rhythm to participants, to families, caregivers, or groups, if I'm doing a large drum circle, I encourage people to play out their own unique heartbeat on the instrument. There is no right or wrong because it's yours. So if you want to take a second to feel your heartbeat, close your eyes to focus on it, and then express that into an instrument.
So how would we do that?
Absolutely. So I'm going to show you a couple different instruments that I use in my sessions, and also some considerations when choosing the right instrument for your loved one. Because again, you know your loved one better than I do. And so honestly, if I was going in a group, I would want that input. For example, so we have, I will explain these if you're not watching on television, but you can probably hear that I have jingle bells. And on these jingle bells, I have 3 brightly colored ribbons. So it's not only the sound that we're getting from the bells, but also adding that, okay, now you really have to lift your arm up for this to see those beautiful ribbons, and another way to kind of engage now a physical goal.
So you're doing motion with it.
Doing motion, that's right, music and movement. But bells might not be appropriate if someone is very sensitive to really high-pitched sounds, or if they have hearing aids. Yeah, exactly. So I always give a choice in my sessions.
Choices are good.
Control and choice making are pretty much my favorite words. Absolutely. And when so much, like we said, is the choice is taken away or is not able to be there anymore, the least I can do is give them a choice what instrument they're going to play. And almost everyone chooses the bells. Everyone loves the bells, but I always want to be sensitive to that. So we have bells, but not just your ordinary. You want to have them colorful. We have another set of bells here. It's kind of looks like a Easter egg of sorts, all different colors.
Right.
A lot of people, if they don't choose bells, they're probably going to go for a tambourine.
I like the tambourine.
Lots of people love the tambourine, especially because of the different things that instruments stand for in culture. So a lot of people, if they were very engaged in their church or in a praise band, playing a tambourine will bring that back for them. And caregivers too, it's a great way to emphasize any rhythms that we're working on. Now you want to be sensitive now with a tambourine, again, to the high timbre of the pitch, but also to the weight of the tambourine. So some people love the light one like Marcia has, really easy to play. You can even just set it on the lap, tap on the top, or a little heavier one if they have a little bit more movement, or you're trying to stimulate and motivate that
you know
movement.
what I like about the tambourine? You can shake it, or you can
Exactly.
You can hit it.
Or a little hip action.
Yeah.
Yep, and do a little dancing with it as
Right.
well. One more thing that I wanted to show you quickly is if you are going to do drumming. Some people love to do drumming with their hands. We have a lot of djembes, bongos, congas, things like that. But that's not always appropriate, especially if someone is living with rheumatoid arthritis in their hands and it's not comfortable for them to be playing, or maybe their hands are more constricted and more curved. So we do use mallets sometimes with our drums. So here I have a fun little lollipop drum.
That's a drum?
Yes. And we've adapted for actually one of the members of the groups that I'm in, that I lead weekly. We've adapted the mallet with a rubberized grip, and so because holding the mallet was not
So you've made it fatter
so
for
that
them
it's
to
easier
grip,
to grip.
a better grip.
And again, this is someone who was, maybe he's not really gonna participate. A little lower energy, eyes closed, but was a percussionist all his life, the entire hour. I lead it from the start. I give him his drum before everyone else's instrument, and I say, all right, we're going to start with blues. Give me a little blues rhythm. Whatever the style is. And for the hour, he may not raise his head or make eye contact, but he's got that solid rhythm.
He's into it.
Leading the group.
Totally into it.
Love it.
So what do we
Yep.
do first when we're doing with our rhythm and we have a tambourine or we have bells and we're home?
Yep.
How do we engage our person? What's the first thing we want to do?
We want to familiarize them with the instrument, so, let them touch it, feel it, find the different ways that they can play it, and sometimes that might need a little hand-over-hand assistance. Try a few different things out. Try different colors out. Maybe they're going to go for a brightly colored instrument more than something that's a more natural color, like
You know
you're
what I
holding.
like too? The maracas.
Yes.
I like maracas
Yep.
because they can shake those.
Absolutely, like the bells.
Yes.
Yep. Maracas sometimes are very soft, so it's hard for people to hear that, especially if other people are making music too. So just other considerations to think of when you're using
But
instruments.
that could bring back a memory if they went to a foreign country and
For sure.
maybe that's where they bought a set of maracas.
Absolutely.
And that's going to bring back more than a musical memory. It might bring back a travel memory.
Absolutely. And usually musical memories are so strong because they are tied to these travel. We do travel groups a lot. And I do especially, I usually have a little bag that actually my aunt got me from Fiji, so it's kind of cool. And I put all different song titles from different places all over the world in it. And I have them choose one by one. And then we share, has anyone gone to this place? We're going to do Jamaica Farewell or Guantanamera. Did you know you can travel to Cuba? No, kind of tie in recent events into it as well, and talking about all these travel memories. A couple of my groups are mostly Spanish speaking. I don't speak Spanish, but I sing in Spanish, so it's a way for us to connect, and I bring in my Latin percussion drums, the guiro, the bongos, all these things. And
So it doesn't matter as long as you've got the rhythm and you can actually, if you played music on on your CD or the radio, you can actually do the percussion along with
Absolutely.
it. And that's a way for them to get not only the music,
Yes.
but to play along with it.
For sure. Using recorded music at home is a wonderful tool. I always encourage people, if it's comforting to use music in the home, especially if you know what's going to be stimulative and what's going to be sedative, because there are obviously certain times of the day when you're going to want one type of music and when you're going to want
Right.
another.
Sometimes you want to get excited, and other times you want to calm them down.
Right.
And you got to know which
Yep.
one your loved one responds to and when.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And there's a time and a place,
Right,
right?
right.
And so in those times when you really want to get engaged, it's a great way to put on those old classic Broadway records.
Or Elvis.
Or Elvis, or John Denver,
Or
or Frank
Lawrence
Sinatra.
Welk.
Whatever that means, absolutely. And sit down together and engage in that rhythm together. So now it's not just, oh, I'm sitting listening to this music, and maybe it's bringing up a lot of emotions and feelings, which can be hard to deal with if you're by yourself. But with you're with someone else, engaging with that together, it's a wonderful opportunity. And you may learn new things about your loved one that you didn't know before, because it is starting to open up all of those memories tied to the music of their time. Absolutely.
Wow. I know you have your guitar with you
I
today.
do.
And so you have such a beautiful voice.
Oh,
so can you give us a little bit, a snippet of a little song you might do with a client, and then we'll do a little bit of rhythm?
I love it.
Great.
Absolutely. So we're going to do something a little upbeat. And I tend to start most of my groups with the same music for the first about 10 minutes, and it's very movement based. And I tell people, you know your limits, you do as much as you can comfortably, but just to get our bodies moving. My groups are either in the morning, right after they get up, or right after lunch. So we use the music to really kind of re-energize them for the rest of their day.
Not a good idea to do this before bedtime.
No, probably that would be. We'll talk about what music would be appropriate for that time. So, if you want, since we're talking about getting moving today, and even if you're sitting at your computer at the screen, as we talked about, just try this, setting your feet down under your knees, kind of shoulder width apart. We're just going to start nice and easy, tapping your toes right to the rhythm. Ain't she sweet? See her walking down the street. And now I ask you very confidentially, ain't she sweet? Ain't she nice? Look her over once or twice. And now I ask you very confidentially, ain't she nice? Now swing your toes side to side, stretch out your ankles. Just cast an eye in her direction. Oh me, oh my, ain't that perfection? Now lift up your heels, I repeat. Don't you think that's kinda neat? And now I ask you very confidentially, ain't she sweet?
Woo! Beautiful. Beautiful.
Thank you for accompanying me.
That was fun. That was fun. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with more from Bree. Stay tuned.
Take a pen and jot down this information. Right from the Heart assists families in finding the right living arrangements for their aging parents. Founded in 2012 by Sharon Agate, Senior Lifestyle Consultant, Sharon has counseled seniors and their families for over 20 years in clinical settings and in independent assisted living and memory care communities. Finding the right community can be overwhelming and time-consuming. Right from the Heart takes the stress and worry from you. Sharon will meet with mom or dad and evaluate their needs and lifestyle preferences and create a personalized plan at no cost to you. She will accompany you to visit selected communities and guide you every step of the way so you can be assured you're making a well-informed decision. Call Sharon at 561-374-4696. Sharon's promise to you is in your knowing that her advice will always come right from the heart. Do you need the advice of an elder law attorney but perhaps find it difficult or overwhelming getting to appointments? The solution is the Elder Law Department. They bring elder law to you by meeting with you in the comfort of your own surroundings to discuss your personal situation and family needs. In practice since 1994, Heidi Friedman is a member of the Elder Law section of the Florida Bar. She and her team help families with issues that include incapacity and estate planning, asset preservation, veterans benefits, and other legal issues that seniors may face. Call the Elder Law Department at 954-383-1143. 954-383-1143. They bring elder law to you. Make First Choice your first choice for home health care. First Choice is state certified for Medicare covered services such as medical treatment and rehabilitation. Qualified healthcare professionals come to your home and work closely with your doctor to build a care plan designed to get you back on your feet as soon as possible. Founded and operated by registered nurses, First Choice Home Health is dedicated to providing exceptional home health care. Their highly skilled medical professionals have the knowledge and ability to provide patients quality care. Call First Choice Home Health at 561-296-2770. That's 561-296-2770. And tell them you want them as your first choice. Arden Courts is not just a place to live. It's a place to call home. Residential living combined with quality caregiving. This is the philosophy behind Arden Courts. Communities created exclusively for individuals with Alzheimer's disease and related dementia who would benefit from a safe and structured environment. For additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides, call 888-478-2410 to locate a community nearest you. Inquire about our educational seminars, resource library, or support groups, or simply feel free to ask questions you may have about Alzheimer's and related dementias. At Arden Courts, we know, we understand, and we can help because memory care is all we do. Remember, call 888-478-2410 for additional information about any of the unique services Arden Courts provides. You are listening to your host, Marcia Teele, an Alzheimer's disease and dementia care expert on CareGiverSolutions.info. If you have a question or wish to share a story, call into the show at 888-565-1470 and talk with Marcia. Now, back to Caregiver Solutions.
Hi, welcome back to Caregiver Solutions Info. I want to thank our national sponsor, Arden Courts Memory Care Communities. There's actually 10 Arden Courts in the state of Florida and many, many more throughout the country. So we hope that there's one near you because you can call Arden Courts and find out all about what they do that can help you as a caregiver and help your loved one. They're a leading expert in the field of memory care, taking care of people with dementia, Alzheimer's, and you just don't know until you experience an Arden Courts what an Arden Courts can do for you and for your loved one. One of the things that Arden Courts likes to do is take care of the caregiver as well as the patient, and we are offering to you as a participant of watching the show, a free day of daycare, a respite day just for you, the caregiver, just for the asking. We know it's hard. We know caregiving is not easy. And we know that you, as a dedicated caregiver, deserves a break just to relax, just to take time for yourself, and at the same time, have your loved one in a very caring, safe, secure environment. And so if you'd like to take advantage of this free offer, all you have to do is call the Arden Courts 800 number, which is 888-478-2410. Let them know that you heard about the free day of respite on the Caregiver Solutions Info Show. They'll tell you all about it and get you connected so that you can take advantage of that. Also, Arden Courts would like to offer you a free copy of Brain Matters. This is a book recently written by Dr. Mark Brody as one of the co-authors, And Dr. Brody is a research neurologist specifically in the field of Alzheimer's. And Dr. Brody is one of the researchers trying to find out how we can cure this disease. And he's very diligently working to that end. And he has this book written about how the brain works, ways that we can help improve our brain, more brain boosters. And if you'd like to have a free copy of this book, again, just call the 888-478-2410 number for Arden Courts and tell them, and they'll give you the book. They'll give you a free day of respite just for the asking with your name, address, and telephone number. So we're back with Bree Beyon here, and thank you so much for telling us all about music and music therapy and rhythm and how we can move and help our loved ones with dementia get involved and how we can be involved with them through music. And I know a lot of people might feel uncomfortable with actually making music, but I know there's alternatives that they can also use. What are a couple of those real quick?
Absolutely. So just a few other interventions that you might experience during music therapy sessions. We do songwriting, which can be as simple as taking out a few words of a familiar song just to make it more personal to your loved one and to the family, and kind of have that special project to work on. Lyric analysis, kind of talking about why songs are so special. Music for relaxation, just to close your eyes, and the music therapist will just follow respirations or your heartbeat that you're currently having, just to help relax after a stressful day, help them, bring them to a comfortable state. And just receptive music listening. So there's a lot of different ways. If actively engaging in music or upbeat music isn't necessarily your thing, that's just one example that we've talked about today. And we'll talk about my contact information a little bit. I'd love to have that discussion with you to find out what would be the right fit for you and your loved ones.
So if somebody watching today likes what they hear, wants to know more, would like to contact you, how do they do that?
Absolutely. So there are several ways to contact us. You can contact us by phone, and actually this number will go right to my work cell, so you'll speak to me personally, 561-747-9944. You could email me at Bree, B-R-E-E, at pbmti.com. You can visit our website at pbmti.com. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all the social media channels. And we would like to offer listeners and viewers today that if you're part of an organization or a retirement community or a school or something that you would like to take music therapy for a test drive, please give me a call or an email or reach out on social media. Mention caregiversolutions.info, Marcia's program, and we would love to come to a complimentary 1-hour demo program to show you how music therapy can help enhance your group, and whether that's for wellness or if there's specific goals you want to work on, call me and we'll talk about that. So please mention that you heard about it on this program, and we'd be happy to come out and meet with you in person.
Thank you so much. That's an awesome offer. A lot of good things for you to take advantage of. Stay tuned for our next show next week. It's going to be just as good, I promise. And tell everybody about the show. And in the meantime, until we're back next Tuesday, don't forget, give somebody a hug. See you next time.
Thanks for joining us for this week's Caregiver Solutions with Marcia Teele. Join us next week as Marcia, who has 15 years of Alzheimer's disease and dementia care experience, brings you more needed information to help with the care of your loved one. This show can be seen again on caregiversolutions.info, and questions can be left on the site, which may be used on the program to help others. See you next week for more Caregiver Solutions.